All right, YouTube, I'm going to make a quick video here explaining to you quarterly estimates. Obviously, everybody's tax situation is a little bit different. It can be kind of complex, but hopefully after this video, if you had some questions about quarterly estimates, what they are, why you need to make them, this should hopefully explain it for you. If you're a gig worker or an independent contractor, you're not having any withholdings taken out of your pay. A W-2 worker, someone who earns wages, their employer takes a certain portion of their paycheck and remits it to the IRS several times a year, quarterly like this. When you're self-employed, you have to do that yourself, and this is the way that we do it right here. We make these quarterly payments. You have to make these payments timely. Timely means you have to make them on this schedule, April 15th, June 16th. It's 4 times a year. You have to make them on that time. If you make all of your quarterly payments in January, yes, you've paid your balance due, but they will charge you interest for not making the first quarterly payment. So they'll charge you interest from April all the way to January for that first quarter payment. For the second quarter payment, they'll charge you interest from June all the way to January. And that's just sort of how it works. If you wanted to pay your entire balance due at the beginning of the year, you can absolutely do that. Anyway, so let's say that your tax in the prior year was $4,000. You're going to have to make a quarterly payment of $1,000 each quarter. There is a rule: if you're a high income earner, it has to be 110% of what you owed the prior year. That's 150,000 or more. Like I said, there's always nuance to this. So if you have questions or you have large quarterlies, it's best to talk with your tax accountant about it. But this is just an idea for some basic ideas of quarterly payments, why you make them, when you make them. Now, traditionally, people would mail these in. You would get this voucher. You can get these vouchers oftentimes. If you're using a tax preparer, you'll get these vouchers from them, and they'll be a little bit simpler. You're not going to fill this out. It's all going to be filled in for you, and the IRS can scan it and credit it to your account. But a lot of people these days, we're electronic. We don't do snail mail anymore. And I can say that if you're self-employed, a great resource would be to make an irs.gov account. You can make a payment at any time to irs.gov. So if you didn't want to make one large check every quarter, you could break that up as you make money. I know when I was doing Uber, sometimes I would have one month where I made 10 grand. I would have another month where I made 2 grand. It doesn't make sense necessarily to make the full quarterly payment. So you can break it up like that. When you're modifying the quarterly estimates, you are taking some risk. It's always based on the prior year. So the IRS will never charge you interest if you based it on the prior year. Even if you owe in the current year, you made more than you thought, they know you have to base it on the prior year. But that being said, yeah, go make an irs.gov account if you're self-employed. It's going to be a simple tool for you. This is what an irs.gov account looks like. And if you want to make a payment, you go right here, pay by bank account, pay by card. You set it up here. Select an option, pay towards your balance, or make an estimated tax. If you're doing estimated taxes, this is what you're going to click. Select the tax year, 2025. This is my first quarter payment. The date. It's always going to apply to the next quarterly payment. Like I said, you can make your payments early, but you don't want to make your payments late. Another way to set up these payments is to do auto pay, which you can do on irs.gov, and that way they'll just deduct the amount that you request, 4 times a year, and you don't have to think about it. This is for people who like auto pay on their bills. We're in a modern society. I think that's a good option for a lot of people, and it's kind of underutilized currently. Your preparer can set that up for you if you use a tax preparer, and that can often be good. One thing I want to also recommend is if you do use a preparer, that you print a transcript of the payments that you made and give it to your preparer every year. That's another reason to have this irs.gov account, is that you can see all the exchanges. You can print this out and give it to your preparer, and they'll know exactly when you made your quarterly payments. That way they can give you an accurate return. It's just going to save your preparer from asking you one more question. We don't know whether or not you made those payments. We just give it to you and hope that you did it. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap up my video for you guys today. It's been a little bit since I posted. I got really busy during tax season, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to make another video soon about abatement from penalties. So if you didn't make your quarterly payments on time, I'm going to show you how to get a first-time abatement from those penalties. So stay tuned for that. And if you can, give me a like and a subscribe, and give me a comment on any sort of tax topics you'd like me to go over, or any specific questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you. All right. My channel's Free Tax Advice.